Hello YouTube. I gotta make this video because there's some confusion about what is going on in the world. And maybe my 2 cents could help clear it up somewhat for some people. There's a lot of fighting going on. Fighting between the working class, upper classes, working class, and poor people, uber wealthy. There's a lot of ass kissing. There's a lot of brown nosing. The elites. These, first it was the Hollywood figures. Now it's freaking influencers. We used to be more in nature. Now we're freaking nose down to the phones. Checking analytics. Or whatever. Checking a post we posted, a stat, something on our phone. It don't matter what it is. It's a headline culture where most people don't dive into the headlines. We all know that. We have people living in constructs. All different types of constructs. Fighting against each other. Instead of working together. Now you still have decent people out there. But how can you be a decent person when you're not even in reality most of the time, or you're in your own little made up simulation? I'm not saying the earth isn't real and it's not steak I'm eating. I'm saying, like the Matrix, we're all living in our own little fairy tale. Like, Andrew Tate kind of said. I believe he had it wrong. Because it's not about all this material wealth and numbers on a screen equating to your wealth. When you die, you can't take it with you. But if you say these kind of things, you get laughed at, called a brokey. We're living in a world where people are more and more inclined to think just because somebody has more zeros in a bank account that they're somehow more intelligent, somehow stronger, better. Now, there are people on the other side of that are playing victims, that are relying on the government, that are just trying to get by. And when you were never educated on how to get rich or how to make money, when you were raised thinking people that did make money were evil, when you were raised thinking money doesn't buy you happiness, when you were raised living off what you could, you think that you appreciate the little things, and you start to think that the little things matter more than the big things. So you start trying to celebrate each day. You're just trying to feel good in the moment, instead of thinking long term, instead of envisioning a way out, how to grow, how to change your life. You're never taught that. So are you really playing a victim, or are you trapped in a construct of your own? It's just a poor man's construct, right? If that's even the right word. I'm an uneducated person. I always thought I was a little different. I thought a little more. Had more of an open-minded, wasn't quick to believe stuff like too quickly. Kind of sat back and observed a lot of stuff, everything. Spoke when I was spoken to. Had a low voice, kind of timid, scared, but humble. Humble out of more out of fear than humbleness, whatever the word is. But I I don't know. I grew up not even thinking about politics. Like I always heard politics, two sides of the same coin. And my grandma cared about. She used to yell at TV. She was a Republican. She supported George Bush. She would yell at the TV. But most of my generation didn't give a damn. We were too distracted by Courage the Cowardly Dog and Adult Swim and Facebook, YouTube, all this stuff was coming around. I'm the first generation, or I'm the last generation to live half in nature and half on the internet. Really, I believe. Because the phones came around when I was a teenager. And, I just thought of something. Because I'm trying to get to a certain point. And I mentioned I had a possibility blindness, or people had a possibility blindness. Because I was raised to, think there was nothing wrong with how I was living. You cope. People cope. And I think it's something your brain does. So that, to protect yourself. Because at a certain point, there's nothing you could do about it. So you start to accept it. And accept your reality, whether it's negative, your outlook. And it's impossible to see a way out. It's like you don't think along those lines. If you're thinking about day-to-day survival, most people that are living paycheck to paycheck and can't quit their job, and they're mad at people that get food stamps, and they make just a little too much not to have food stamps, but not enough to have the things they want, just enough to get by maybe one Disney trip a year if they save. They're pissed off. Because they can't change. They can't quit. I can't quit. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. So whether they like it or not, they have to work. And these kids growing up, Gen Z, and a lot of millennials don't want to end up like that. They don't want to just follow the system of, you work, pay taxes, and die. Oh yeah, you get to have some apps and stuff, you get to have the internet, these apps. They don't want to just follow that system and get stuck in it, get trapped in it. They want to live life. They believe we've been, conditioned. And to a certain extent, people are conditioned because you have to cope if you're living in that life and you cannot do nothing about it, or you convince yourself you can't do nothing about it. Or you could choose to take it out and freak out and on a unsuspecting people, or people getting government assistance, even though it's not their fault that you barely make enough money to get by. And at the very least, they're getting $200 per person, which is $50 a week. That's $200 a month. $50 a week to live on, and you're mad at that. While you got your nice car, your house. Yeah, you live paycheck to paycheck as well, just like them. but you have nicer things and you're proud about it and you're a dick. Not everybody does that. A lot of people work hard and they accept it, and they know that they're in the rat race, but that's what they want out of life. They're okay with that, and that's great. Those aren't the people that are mad. Those aren't the people that are fighting the people that need support or are getting support. A lot of people that are getting support work 40 hours a week. I get support and I work 40 hours a week. I need that support. At the very most, it allows me to have some, better food, organic, if I can, like just fruits and vegetables. It helps me to have food for my family, and I don't have nice things. So if I, saved all my money, I could have nice things, but I choose to live, day by day, because that's how I was raised. Instead of putting off my what's the word? I don't know. Instead of saving, I choose to I'm having a hard time in blanking here, but I choose to reward myself each day, little by little, so I feel better about my choices and my existence and in life, instead of holding it off. But even if I held it off, so I could do things like Disney or whatever, which, Disney, long lines, expensive ass food, that sucks anyway. Anyways, who wants to do that? I don't know. I choose to live day by day because that's all you have. And even if I didn't get food stamps or anything like that, because there's been times where I didn't. I made too much. We made too much. At the time, we're not making enough. There's too much to take care of, and it helps, and we haven't got it. But I'm not sitting here complaining about it. And even if I wasn't getting it, I wouldn't be mean. I wouldn't be fighting somebody. I'm paying for those taxes too. And that's not the problem. The government's going to take out those taxes regardless. It's going to go to something. So why not, go to people that need it? But, let's talk about the people that are fucking living it up. Rich as hell. Billions of dollars. You're not mad at them. You're mad at your fellow humans. And you suck up the ass of these billionaires and elites and whatever. Celebrities and famous people and influencers. And we try to be like them. We listen to them. Instead of being ourselves. Instead of spending time with our families. Instead of spending time with each other. Talking to each other. We're caught up in these echo chambers. And we fight each other. It is stupid. We are all in these little constructs that we need to break out of. I feel like I'm starting to realize that most of this crap don't matter, like I thought so in the beginning. But I was led to believe that because I was poor, because I was broke, because of my situation, that my opinion wouldn't be valid. Whether that was my family or whatever. And internally I played the victim. And in life, abused my circumstances as an excuse. Not to try harder, yes. But to a certain extent, I only knew what I knew. I was working with the information I had on hand to make the best choices. And I could have went down a terrible path, and I know some people that did. And I had some bad things that happened to me time after time. I used to have I used to call it my guardian angel when I would get so frustrated and so upset, something would just tell me to let it go. Let it go. You gotta stop. And I would just let it go, because there was nothing I could do about it. I don't know where I was going with that, but I lost that along the way. Something inside stopped telling my mind that. Until the other day. And as soon as I remembered that, it put me at ease. Because I was more in reality. I was more in nature back then. I was more in tune. I was right. I just didn't have the freaking information that I needed. I still don't have some information that I needed. But I have a lot of information about life, philosophy, I guess. And to me, that's more valuable than some numbers. Because I know myself. I know what I want. I know who I am. Like, I don't care what people have to say about me. I don't care to fight anybody. I'm here as a human being, trying to experience this world and make the most of it I can, and help the most people I can, and impact it the most I can. I'm not here to play this game of who has the most zeros or who has the most followers. I don't even know if I should even be doing what I'm doing now. The only reason why I'm doing it is to try to reach people that think like I do. And let them know that they're not alone. And so I know that I'm not alone. I mean, that's really all I got to say about this. I'm going to drop this video. I recorded a different video, and I put some movie clips in it, but I couldn't say what I wanted to say. And I feel like I said what I wanted to say. I'm just tired of people. I mean, really, without trying to sound like a snowflake, I'm tired of people fighting each other. I'm tired of people judging each other. I'm tired of people acting like their shit don't stink. I'm tired of people acting like all this shit matters instead of what really matters. Love, taking care of the planet, taking care of each other. You only get one life. Is what you're choosing to do really valuable to you and to others? And if you're somebody who don't care about others, that's your life, that's your choice. God help you. But just because people are uneducated, or just because people are trapped in constructs, don't mean that they're not willing to change. Doesn't mean that they're stupid or can't learn. Don't give up on people. So, with that being said, I'm going to end it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like it, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and take care of yourself.